what I have here are the 4 pieces to this template set that makes a 5-pointed star or a Drunkard's path block. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to cut the star pieces and the set-in star piece for the 5-pointed star. What you're going to do is cut a strip of fabric, and the first piece I'll show you is the 5-pointed star, the star points. I have a strip of fabric that I have already cut my star piece out of. What I've done is I've aligned the flat edge of my star at the top edge of my fabric, and at the opposite end there's another flat end, and you align it with the bottom of your strip. You're going to cut on both sides of the star, and both sides of the star go up and up. Like I showed you with another tool, when you are cutting these, you sometimes come over and slice a little bit into your fabric. So you don't want that to be in your seam allowance. Once you've cut, you can, on this particular tool, you can flip it. And I just move it over slightly so I don't get that little cut piece into my seam allowance. And then I will cut, 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 cut. I would actually cut this side first and then flip it around because I like to cut from the right side. I would then flip it again. So you can flip this particular piece up and down across your strip. The second part to the star is the set-in curved piece. What I've done here is I have, again, cut a strip, and I pre-cut my curved piece. I have placed the bottom edge of my curved, straight edge of my curved piece on the edge of my fabric, and you can see that the fabric's a little bit wider than the curve. What you want to do is cut the one side and then cut all along the curve. It's really easy. You can move this particular one over again. You don't have any little cut-ins to worry about. You can align the bottom edge of your tool. I'll cut this one to show you. You're going to cut along the curve. I'll just kind of cut that one off right there because it's bigger than what I need. And I'll turn it around so that I'm cutting the other side of my straight edge with my right hand. Now we have our curved piece to go into our block. So we have our, I'm going to pull another piece over that I've already sewn together. Here we have the star point, and here we have the curved piece. We will sew 2 star points together, then set in our curve. And you're doing it the same way we've set in everything that we've done in the past. You can see on the back where I've pressed open those seams so you don't have a big lump right in the center. But again, you're going to stitch on this particular one. I started 1/4 of an inch in and stopped 1/4 of an inch in from the other side. The reason I did that is because we are also setting in on that side the curved piece. So you want to sew 2 star points together, and then you will stitch in your curved piece. You'll start from one end to 1/4 of an inch in. Turn it around from the other end to 1/4 of an inch in. You'll make one set. You can make a second set, stitch them together. Here's the 2 that you've already done. Here's 2 more. Stitch them together here, set in your curved piece. So now you have this sewn together. You're going to stitch in your fifth star point and then set in your two curved pieces. Sounds like a lot, but it's really very easy. Then when you're cutting for the outside piece to finish it off to be a square, what you're going to do is take piece C, and what I've done here, there's two ways to cut piece C. And you'll see on the tool that there's obviously the flat edge, but then there's another line that says fold. So there's two ways to cut, either at the very edge, at the flat edge, or placing that on the fold of the fabric. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to do this with cutting edge to edge. So what I've done is I've cut my straight edge here. I'll take my rotary cutter and I'm going to cut up, and then I'm going to cut all along this inside curve, and then you're going to have this section that you can put around your star. What I've done here is cut 2 green and 2 brown. Oops, put them in the wrong way. There we go. So you could actually then piece these together, and that's why you have that dotted line is actually the 1/4 inch seam allowance when you cut from the flat edge. So you'll sew these together and then you'll set them around your star. The other way to cut with the part C is to take a square, and this was cut 12.5 inches. You can actually cut a square any size you want, because really what you're cutting is this inside curve. So let's say you wanted to have a star and you were putting it on a pillow, but your pillow was 24 inches. You could have your square cut 24, 25 inches, and it would still fit this particular circle because all you're doing is cutting this curve. And so on this tool you have fold, on the other side you have fold. You're going to fold your fabric in half and then in half again, so it's in quarters. And you can see I've put a pin here and a pin here. And what that helps me do is keep it all aligned and nice and square. I'm going to put the fold line marking on the fold and the fold marking on the other side. And then I'm going to cut my inside curve. Take my pins out and I'll show you what this looks like. You'll open it up. And if you were wanted to put a whole circle without piecing the sides together, the 4 corners together, you could do that with just cutting on the fold. You can see this is much bigger than I probably would want it to be, and it's much bigger than it would be if I used just the size of this tool. And then you would set the circle into the outside edge. It's a really gentle curve, and it's very easy to sew. I have here some examples, an example of a 5-pointed star. Typically, traditional red, white, and blue, with 2 shades of muslin, red, 2 shades of muslin, blue. Fun 5-pointed star small wall quilt. The other thing you can do with the tool is make a drunkard's path. The drunkard's path uses piece C and piece D. I've cut both of them here, so this is piece C. cut the exact same way that you would cut for the 5-pointed star, but you're always using the outside edge. You're not cutting on the fold. And then piece D, which makes the Drunkard's Path block, I've cut a strip. I've cut that straight edge off. The bottom of my tool aligns with the bottom of the strip. The top edge aligns with the top of the strip. And I've taken my rotary cutter and I've cut all around this gentle curve. Then this will be set in to piece C, just like you would do it for the 5-pointed star. And this particular quilt, small piece, is a Drunkard's Path. So you have the curve here with the outside straight edge. And you're making single blocks and putting them together. Literally dozens of ways to put a Drunkard's Path together.